Despite receiving hundreds of thousands of views every month and earning hundreds of thousands of dollars from its Faceless YouTube channel, none of the videos on this channel are original. Thus, how is it that this channel is able to both survive and make money off of the content of others? Why hasn't copyright violations or demonetization affected this channel? The basic concept is to build channels centered on popular topics and niches with high CPMs, which generate higher paying ad revenue. All of it is sourced from previously published material. And then the key secret ingredient is added: transformation. Often all of the work is outsourced, from the scripting to the narration to the editing to the thumbnail design. And thanks to this business model, everyday individuals, even kids, are earning millions of dollars on YouTube. However, it is based on what could be described as dark arts, challenging current copyright law while staying on the right side of YouTube's content ID system. So I wanted to know how all of this was possible. I will unveil all of the mysteries behind faceless channels and copyright. And you let us know in the comments about this video which thing you learned the first time. Today, we'll learn how to avoid demonetization and copyright violations on faceless YouTube videos or accounts. So let's get started. So just before we get into fair use in YouTube, I do want to say I'm not a legal expert. My experience comes from doing YouTube channels for long and having to go through a bunch of people with experience in this field. Step 1. Fair use. Fair use is a legal doctrine that allows you to use other people's copyrighted content within your own video. It is very important to say, this can only happen if the content you are making from the original corporate work is fair use at /transformative. You know what does transformative mean? Well, you have to add value to the original corporate work. This means educational value. You have to give commentary a different perspective. Apparently, perhaps that is what transformative means. The problem with fair use really is that it's a massive gray area. I've got on corporate claims, corporate strikes, and whatnot, and it costs you a bunch of ad revenue and a bunch of headache. If you don't understand fair use properly, because there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding fair use, especially on YouTube. It is often the case that YouTube has heard this magical term fair use, and I assume it's the ultimate defense to anything copyright. That, of course, is your first mistake. And here is some more. YouTube actually don't decide fair use, but the US court system decides fair use. When we're talking about fair use, there are 4 pillars that are really important. So the first one would be character of use. The second one would be the nature of the copyright work, or the source of the copyright work. The third one would be the amount used, and the fourth would be the impact on the market for the copyright order. Step 2. Purpose and character of the copyrighted work. So when we're talking about the purpose of the copyrighted work on the fair use, we're really talking about how much value and transformation are you adding. So are you adding significant value in form of cool edits and commentary? Is the video revolving around you and not the corporate content? If the video is revolving on the corporate content, that is not fair use. So the value can come from different sources. It can come from your opinion or your commentary, from informational context. So documentaries on YouTube would be a good example. What would be an example of something that isn't considered transformative content? An example of something that wouldn't be fair use is just taking someone else's video, adding a little bit of commentary, like maybe 30% commentary to the video, and then just straight up posting it to your channel. No, that's not fair use because the copyrighted work is valued more than your commentary. Transformative content means you have to make sure that your educational insight, or your perspective, or your parody is way more valuable than any clip of someone else. Step 3. The source or nature of the copyrighted work. As a creator, understanding the source and nature of copyrighted work is crucial. It's vital to avoid using content from companies or corporations with strict copyright policies, as this can lead to trouble. These entities typically have robust legal teams and content ID systems, making it easy to get into trouble swiftly. Let's talk about who is extremely protective of their content and who is more tolerant. High risk would be something like sports broadcast. So think of Formula One, broadcast of official soccer broadcast, the NFL, the Super Bowl. Those are very copyrighted works. They have large legal structures behind that content, and you have to be very, very careful when you're utilizing that corporate work, as the chance that you will get in trouble is very big, and they're not afraid to sue creators. Lastly, it's crucial to be careful when using creative works, such as films, movies, and ads, as they are highly protected under corporate law. Focus on using low-risk corporate sources like polycam footage of police body cam or individual fan clips, which generally pose lower copyright risks. Additionally, factual content like news clips or documentaries, especially in educational contexts, typically face fewer copyright claims. Take clips from people that have filmed a Formula One race or a Formula One moment on their phone, because this usually doesn't get matched in the Content ID system. Usually, individuals won't be as likely to take you to a court or strike you on YouTube. So those are usually pretty safe sources if you want to make vlogs for YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. A key tip for creators is to carefully consider the variation of sources used in their videos. Relying on one source for content increases the risk of receiving copyright claims. Instead, aim to diversify by incorporating content from different sources to reduce the likelihood of strikes. For example, include a brief clip of a Formula One race from a public broadcast, integrate fan footage, and also use images. Step 4. Amount of content used. When discussing fair use on YouTube, people often assume it's strictly about limiting the duration of a clip. However, it's more about the importance of that corporate clip. If you're incorporating the heart of the clip into your own video, you're more likely to face copyright claims or strikes, compared to using insignificant portions of copyrighted content. For example, Empire Strikes Back is a 2-hour-plus movie, but you could just take 3 seconds from that film when Darth Vader says to Luke, "No, I am your," and that is the heart of the entire thing ripped out of it. Step 5. Potential market impact. Your content with the corporate footage replaces the original corporate footage. So that's why compilations are so tricky, because they usually replace the original copyright holder's content. So because viewers are more likely to go watch the compilations, they have watched the compilations, they've seen the footage, and they won't watch the original clip anymore. This can lead to significant repercussions. Therefore, ensure that your content doesn't adversely affect the market for corporate holders, as this is a critical aspect of fair use. Step 6. Interval between clips. Another thing to avoid Content ID on YouTube is to make sure to use an interval. So there has to be a break between the corporate content. So 10 seconds of corporate work, and then 10 seconds of voiceover. Then again, 10 seconds of corporate work, 10 seconds of voiceover. This way, YouTube's AI doesn't really detect the corporate work. Finally, it's really important to just combine the information I have given earlier and apply it to avoid copyright on faceless videos. Subscribe to our channel and follow for more.